Nothing in a negative way, it's just different. You have to learn to adapt. You have to learn to be around people all the time. You have to learn to share space. No ways. Like, this is my stage for the next 6.5 months. Like, this is where I want to perform and like leave my heart and soul on the stage and everything. You smell everything. Everything is just in the open.
Did you just say you smell everything?
Everything is there.
Oh, Tamsyn. It's Tamara here from Chase Dance Company, and I am with Tamsyn Dexter yet again, our good friend. She is a professional dancer living in South Africa, and she was a veteran company dancer, and that's how we met, and we've maintained this awesome relationship. So we're having her on today to talk to her about her most recent venture, which is her cruise ship experience. So she just finished her first cruise contract as a professional dancer. So Tamsyn, what was the cruise line that you were working for?
It was a German cruise line called Mein Schiff, and I was on vessel number 3. So it's quite a big fleet. I think there's 7 or 8 in the fleet, but it's a very German company, so very known in Europe. Yeah.
Yeah. And what would you say your whole, like in a nutshell, like what was the whole entire experience kind of like?
When people ask me, I never really know where to start. It was just a different experience. It's something that I didn't really have much of an expectation, but the little part that I thought it was going to be like, it was completely different. Your whole way of life changes. And I think that part I didn't actually kind of think about. Nothing in a negative way, it's just different. You have to learn to adapt. You have to learn to be around people all the time. You have to learn to share space. I don't know. I like this, and now you have to learn how to share with people.
So what's the room and board situation? Like, what should a dancer expect, when they do sign that cruise contract? What is room and board like, and what is it like living in such close quarters with a roomie and on a ship with no windows and, the movement?
Yeah, that was the hardest part. So luckily for us, we were lucky to have butterfly cabins. So those are cabins where you have your own room, and then you share a bathroom, and then someone else has the one on the other side. So luckily you have your own space to sleep, and you have your own basin inside your little room, and your bed is on the wall. So then it flips down, and underneath there's a desk, and then you have like a cupboard that's literally like 0.5 meter wide. That's it. That's all you got. And then you have a bathroom that's also about not even 1 meter like wide either, that has the shower and the toilet in there. So that's how small the cabin is. And the fact that there's no sun. I mean, I love sleeping with my curtains open. I love the morning sun in the morning. I love hearing the birds, and you don't experience any of that anymore. You have to go up all of these flights of stairs to go and see the sun every morning. So it's a very different experience to wake up in darkness every day.
And how was it like living with a roommate in those close quarters? I mean, did you have any challenges, or like you mentioned, other dancers did have challenges, clashes of personalities?
I think I was very fortunate enough with my roommate. So we had actually met, he was in the company, Jean-Jay, and we asked to roommate together. So we did. So we got along really well. I mean, obviously, if you spend every waking minute with the person, there is every now and again a little bit of a clash, but nothing really serious. I mean, I think you just get very close with people. You really know how to break down the awkward boundaries, because you can't have any. I mean, you hear everything, you smell everything. Everything is just in the open.
Did you just say you smell everything?
Everything is there.
Oh, Tamsyn. I mean, it's true. It's true.
No, it is. But I think, you just learn how to deal with it, and you just, now that you look back at it, you just laugh. And I think it's a really amazing opportunity. I mean, the friends I made on there, and especially one roommate, we're going to be friends for hopefully a very long time,
Yeah, I think it's definitely a good way to like network and make friends around the world, like with dancers, and connect, because especially now with technology, like look what we're doing now, you're on the other side of the world. It's always good to have those connections for dancers. So that's cool.
friends in Russia, Belarus, Cyprus, Germany, wow, all over the world. So it is really, really cool.
That's awesome. So what's the dancing like? How, the rehearsals, demands, like what was your daily routine? What did that sort of look like? Maybe not daily, but on the days when you were performing.
Okay, so actually I should probably start with the rehearsal period which happens in Germany. And that's where we learn a total of 12 shows we learned in Germany. And how it would work is you get there at 9 o'clock, and then we had like a ballet class, a technique class, or someone else to teach a jazz class for about an hour and a half. Then you go into your own studio, and the studios were beautiful, and you would learn pieces from I think we had lunch break at 1:30 to 2:30, and then you would continue dancing until about 6:30, 7:00 sometimes. So the days are long, and you're just learning choreography the whole day, and you feel it on your body. And those 2 months were tough. After the first month and a half, you could really feel wow, okay, you're working the whole day, your brain is tired, your body is tired, but it's super, super exciting when you get to put the pieces together and you have all of these shows at the end of the 2 months. And then when you get on board, you have, I think it was about 3 weeks of an overlap where the old cast is still on the ship, and you come and you kind of supervise their shows. So you watch their shows, you see how it's done. And during those 3 weeks, you couldn't get off the ship at all. So you were there, and during the day, you were busy staging, you were busy doing costume runs and GPs and HPs. And then in the night, they would perform a show that you could watch, so you could see what it would look like. And then, after the 3 weeks were done, the old cast goes home, I think at week number 2 around about, and then you start performing and you're doing stagings in the day. So it is quite a hectic first few weeks on board. And then after that, you pretty much have fun because you've done your dress rehearsals and your stagings and you know how everything works. So then your day consists of waking up whenever you want to wake up, and then you can go out and you can see different places, you can experience the world, meet new people, you can come back onto the ship, and your working day pretty much starts at about 4. You get ready for a class. We generally had ballet, but you could do, someone taught a contemporary class. Sometimes we did hip hop. And then after an hour-long class, we would do a stage run of the show we were performing that night. And then it would be get ready time, doing makeup, setting our costumes, and warming up. And then the show would be from 9 until 10.
Okay.
So that was pretty fun. Yeah.
You mentioned you guys taking classes. Did you guys give them yourself? Are you guys teaching them, or do they have teachers come on board?
No, so we had the cast consists of 8 dancers, and one of those dancers is a dance captain, and generally she was in charge of giving the class. But obviously it differs from ship to ship, but also we changed according to the people. So our dance captain was ballet and classically trained, so she taught us ballet, but we had other people teaching hip hop and would switch around every now and then. So you
were talking about dancing on the stage and what it felt like to be dancing on a really nice theater stage. Do you just want to go back and repeat that? Because it was really nice. I was like, oh, that's when the idea came to me. I was like, this needs to be on camera.
I know, that's fun. I mean, I think for any dancer who's been training and who loves to perform, that was the most amazing part. So when you get there, the first thing you obviously want to go see is the theater. So we went to go see the theater, and it's beautiful. It's one of those, all the chairs were yellow and blue. It was just beautiful. And the theater stage is huge. It was big. And there was all of these lights and moving panels and moving levels. And the first time you start doing rehearsals on it, you're like, no ways. This is my stage for the next 6.5 months. This is where I'm going to perform and leave my heart and soul on the stage and connect with my fellow performers. And I think even backstage, the backstage mirrors and your little setup of where you're going to do your makeup and your little cupboards for all of your costumes that the dressers take out for you before every show, which is really, really cool. So you have your own little shoebox, all of your costumes that are always there, and your own little makeup station. So I love that part, the fact that all of that belonged to me for 6.5 months, and I could enjoy that all as much as I wanted. So that was really cool.
So how many shows did you have in a day again? Was it just the one?
Yeah, sometimes we would, very seldom, but sometimes we would perform twice a day. One of the shows would be like on the pool deck, so there was a smaller pool deck theater, I suppose you could say, where people, it was more like a party type of a show. And then we had, so I think we had four of those types of shows, and then we had 8 shows in the theater. Okay. And then during the course of our contract, we got taught another show actually that we did as well. So we had 13 shows in total. So yeah, sometimes we would do 2 shows a day, but it was very seldom. Most of the times we had our evening shows.
So it sounds like the whole thing is a lot of upfront, just like with anything. Like upfront, you said those first few weeks and months can be really demanding, and then you get to sort of reap the benefits of just enjoying your day and enjoying your time and performing in the evening towards the end. Yeah, which is just like with anything and everything that we're doing. I mean, yesterday we were on a call just talking about like lesson planning, and it's all that upfront like effort, and then the rest of your everything, runs smoothly and easily afterwards. So just whoever's watching, keep that in mind for anything that you're doing. And missing your family on the ship, how is that? Because you mentioned you have to pay for internet, you didn't really get to like speak to them as much. Like what, especially this was your first time leaving home, like how did you cope with all of that?
Yes, so actually I didn't expect to be so homebound. I think being home for your whole of your life, well, I was always thinking, like I wanted to get away and I wanted to see the world, and I was like, I'm not going to miss my family, it's okay, I'll get back. But no, I really did. I actually felt it a lot when I was in Berlin for the first 2 months. I really, really felt, I think it was because I came to you first for 6 weeks and then I came home for like a few days and then I left again. So I think in Berlin it was really, really tough for me. And then I learned how to deal with it. But in Berlin, I mean, we had Wi-Fi, and then when I got onto the ship, you had to pay for Wi-Fi. It was quite expensive. I don't know how all cruise lines work, but you had to pay for like 3 gigabytes of data, which you could use however quickly or however slowly you wanted to, but it was a lot of money to just use. So you tried to conserve it for as long as possible. So you never, but I mean, we survived and it was okay.
Yeah.
But I didn't know. I think the fact that there isn't such an easy connection does make it slightly harder. So yeah.
Yeah, and for any dancers also, like, okay, that's about leaving home and everything. You have a boyfriend. How is it for, if you're a dancer and you're leaving your boyfriend, for 6-8 months, away from them? Like how was that? Did I mean, we haven't even gotten to speak about that on a personal basis, but like, what is it like coping and handling that long distance, situation?
We learned a lot about each other. We learned a lot how to communicate. That was like number one. We learned a lot how to appreciate the time that we actually could speak to each other. And I think we just learned longing, like honestly, I mean, I had only been dating Tana for about 6 months before I left on everything. So it was quite a baby relationship. And I think honestly, if we look back at it now and we talk about it, we say, you know what, that's exactly what we needed to go through. We learned so much about each other and I think we're stronger for it today. But I mean, don't ever think it's easy. I mean, there were times when, I don't know. But we, you know what, we were both, we're very faithful people and we really knew that this is what we wanted. So I think that's what made us get through the distance, But it is possible. For anyone who thinks it's not possible, it is possible. Distance is always possible if you want it, So, yeah.
Yeah, would you do the whole experience again, or is it kind of like a try it once, experience it, put it on the resume, move to something else?
I think for everyone it's different. They said to us when we started the contract, they said you're either going to love it or you're going to hate it. Like there's no in between. But honestly, for me, there was really an in between because I love the experience. I'm a traveler at heart, and I love traveling. I love performing. I loved being able to be on stage every day. And that's one of the things I miss the most is coming back home and not having a show to perform when it was time to perform, But I think I just feel since I love home so much and there's so much for me at home, if I'm going to leave again, I would prefer to maybe try something else, to try a musical, to try something else that travels, because I feel like I've done it, I've experienced it. But now a few months being home, like you do miss it, I just think if I need to go back for any reason, at least I know that opportunity is there and I will be able to take it again.
Any last tips, advice for upcoming dancers that are considering a cruise contract?
Yes, do it. 100% I say do it. One thing that you have to know is I think people have this idea that when you go onto a ship, you party, you get drunk, and you just lose everything. You just, and what stays on the ship stays on the ship, and that's just not it. Like that's not the mentality I went into at all. I went into the ship contract with morals and values, and I made sure I stuck to it. So I think if you know who you are in life and you know what you want and who you are and the things you stand for, then do it. If you feel like, oh, I don't know, I just feel like you really have to be strong because there's a lot of things that happen on the ship. It's true, but you don't have to be part of any of it. And I just feel like it's an opportunity to learn about yourself. It's an opportunity to really understand the things that you like and by watching other people and the things that you don't like. And I think as a performer and as a dancer, it's something you have to experience because the moving of the ship and performing on the stage at the same time is like a completely different ball game than doing it in a theatre. And the way you have to work with your fellow colleagues, you're not going home and only seeing them in 2 days' time. You're seeing them when you go home and when you leave and when you eat and everything. So to learn to work with people, it's definitely important. And you can see for yourself if it's something you really enjoy and if you don't. But just understand that there's a lot of hard things and it's not always what you expect. But there's also so much beauty in it and so many new adventures that you can experience when doing it. And yeah, I say do it. Do it. If you want to do it, do it. Do the auditions and see how you feel about it.
All right, so thanks guys for tuning in and watching this awesome video. Thanks Tamsyn for the advice and all the information. I hope dancers find it useful, and yeah, we will see everybody later and have an awesome day.
Awesome. Bye now.
Thanks Tamsyn.